On to my second source. I had the opportunity of analyzing Bill O'Reilly on Fox News and his perspective on the legalization of marijuana. Bill O'Reilly has definitely a very strong conservative and anti-weed legalization bias. His political ideology is that of a much more conservative one, considering that Fox News, the network in which he was recording in, is a much more conservative news network. Not only that, but his ideals of not wanting to legalize it and instead wanting to ban it is that of a much more conservative type. Um, this opinion was definitely biased in the way that it's very one-sided. He did not take into any consideration of the opposite point of view, that of the liberal standpoint, and does not use any any sources or any type of relation to the liberal perspective and other side of the conversation. This being said, he is biasing his side to a much more conservative one compared to the much more liberal side, making his argument a little bit weaker in a way. Next off, his word choice and his decision in what his vocabulary was for this selection. He uses words such as the low point and anti-smoking and abnormalities to impact his tone in the message. And through this, he had a much more negative connotation to the conversation, making viewers really disagree with the legalization of weed. This actually strengthened his argument in a way that if you want your viewers not, if you do not like weed, you're definitely going to give it much more negative connotation to associate with, making viewers not want the legalization of it. Looking at his perspective, Bill O'Reilly says that weed is damaging for one's health, and that is bad. Therefore, we should not legalize it. Bill O'Reilly uses evidence such as personal experience, expert opinions, and quoted research that he cited in order to strengthen his argument. But from this, he did in a way strengthen it by giving opinions that made medical sense and that made viewers think that they should not want to legalize it for damaging one's brain. But on the contrary, the source that he used was a much more conservative scientific paper, making his side much more one-sided than it was originally. Instead of using a neutral paper that both liberal and most liberal and conservative can use, he instead uses a paper that only conservatives would use to support their argument. This was found when I made some research onto the paper of what he cited. So inside of his argument, while it was strong in the conservative bias, he did have a logical fallacy that I did notice, that of hasty generalization. He made the assumption that because people that get high become selfish. He didn't use any background information or any evidence to state this, but he made that generalization, weakening his perspective and instead making everyone who smokes pot selfish for no known reason. This definitely weakened his claim, as you can't associate some information just based off one person or a small group. That doesn't include everyone.